Hello, everyone. Hope everybody is doing great. I wanted to jump on here because, whoo, when I saw the news, and actually I didn't find out about what happened to this beautiful soul until I jumped on Facebook, and one of the coaches that I follow was actually talking about what had happened, and she was sharing her own experience um, with her people in her community. And so I did my research, and Lord have mercy. Hey, everybody that's joined. Um, First of all, let's please send some prayers up for her soul and her family, because yeah, that's why I wanted to talk about this, because this young lady just celebrated 25th or 26th birthday. Beautiful soul. She looked like she had a lot going on from her based on her Instagram profile. Looks like she had a couple of businesses and was doing the darn thing. Hopefully living her best life. And she went on what was supposed to be a friend's trip out of the country to Mexico. I will. Hopefully, Instagram will allow me to. If not, it will be on my YouTube channel, and I'll make sure you guys have the link to that. But she went on a trip with people that she trusted. At least we hope that she trusted them, because I know I wouldn't be going on a trip with anyone that I don't trust. And I have gone on vacations with people that I had just met. It was part of a program, if you will. So, sometimes people, but from what I understand, the information that I've read about it is that she knew these people. Actually, one of the people was her best friend, a guy. And that's what makes this so heart-wrenching, because these were not strangers. These were people that she knew and had spent time with at some point in her life recently. So I want to get into this about how this really is deeply rooted in trauma, because anytime any crime happens, it's rooted in some form of trauma. Let's just be clear. Okay? But it was definitely rooted in trauma, because what I saw, and please, if you've not seen the video, please don't go look at it. Do not traumatize yourself. I was not prepared. I went on Twitter and the video was all over Twitter. And I know me telling you is kind of like when you tell a child not to do something, they're going to go do it. We as Black folk have been traumatized enough, and we do not need to see what happened to her. We don't know if that is the fight that caused her death, or if there was more violence towards her from other people. But if you happen to see the video, one, cover yourself, ground yourself. If you need to get grounded, prayer is definitely a great way to ground. Breath work, you can do some box breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4. Okay. But if you can just ground yourself. But let's just get into this. Okay. One of the hardest things for me has been friendships with women. Period. It has been for me. I don't have a lot of friends who are women. I have a lot of associates, but I do not have if I call you a friend, we've been down like 4 flat tires for a long time. Period. My best friend is actually a male. We've been friends for almost 3 decades. But when I think about friendship, and I know Ash Marie, there should have been a trigger warning. Anyone who has watched those videos, people need to put trigger warnings or activation warnings up, because it is very hard to watch. One reason why it's hard to watch for me and I was so disappointed was because there were men who were actually filming the women, and I won't even say the women fighting because there was only one woman fighting. And I do not want to re-trigger anyone, but there were men, and I'm not sure if they were heterosexual, if they were bisexual. Their sexuality means nothing to me. They were supposed to be her friends. They were filming her being viciously beaten, kicked, tossed around like a rag doll. And that tells me something also. This woman was either inebriated from alcohol or there was some drugs, because if you saw the video, she was not moving like someone who was not under some type of influence. I'm very disappointed. Our men, Black men, you need to do better, period, point blank. Black men have been so desensitized to so many things. And I'm going to say Black people in general, because we have seen so much violence towards us. We have been pitted against one another from the moment slavery. So historical trauma is deeply rooted in this. It was designed this way to keep us from being as close-knit as we should, because we are so powerful if we are together. We know this intellectually, but we are not living it out. And I'm just going to call it what it is. I'm going to call it what it is. But those men and the few women that were there, because it was only like 2 or 3 women and about 3 or 4 guys. I'm not sure how many it was, but it was a good bit of men there. No one should have allowed that to happen. No one. But let's talk about why it happened, because I think we need to really understand how deeply rooted certain things are in our epigenetics because of historical trauma and generational trauma. And the generational trauma is more so where we get the epigenetics, but historically, it is also deeply rooted in our DNA. And it's not just Black people, it's brown people and white people too. That's why white people do what they do. But tonight, we're just talking about Black folks, okay? The first thing I want all of us to understand is that every person that was in that room who went on that trip was flawed. I don't know if their intention was to do what they did, but something caused something to happen for that young lady to be violently attacked and killed. And when I break it down for you guys, I hope it has you have some understanding, because when you can see this unhealed trauma in people that we are connecting with and calling friends, we can save ourselves, one, a lot of heartache, and possibly save our life. Because I would venture to say this young lady saw some things in not only her best friend, but in the people that were surrounding her. But because of her own unhealed trauma, and please know this, I am not, and I repeat, I am not blaming this young lady for her death. In no shape, fashion, or form. This is about unhealed trauma and how it shows up and how things like this can happen. The first thing, people will show you who they are unless they have some, it's like a lot of the representative. That's the word that I'm looking for. People always say you meet the representative, and over time you really meet the true person, and they show their true colors. I don't know how long this young lady was friends with these people, but there were representatives all in all of them. Somehow she did not recognize that she was dealing with the representative and not the truth. And I'm going to say this, maybe she did know she was dealing with some representatives, but because she had trust and faith in her best friend, she may have dismissed it and not listened to her own intuition. And we will get to that. Because when you have unhealed pain, trauma, and you've not dealt with the emotional scars and the mental scars of unhealed trauma, you will dismiss your intuition. You will dismiss those nudges that, you said we get it in our gut. I had a gut feeling, something told me. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? That something wasn't right about that person. Or I didn't feel right. My vibe was off. I wasn't vibing with them. We say things like that, but that is what we mean. Our inner wisdom, our inner voice, our intuition. So she may have seen the representative in some of the people, but there was a trust. And sometimes our trust is misguided because we want to see the best in people. Many times people will show us who they are, and instead of us trusting what we see, because as a people, and especially as Black women, one of the things that we have been taught to do is abandon ourselves and our own truth. What we can see with our own eyes, we have been taught to abandon it. How many of you have been told that's just the way they are? That's just the way they are. Girl, they didn't mean nothing by that. And that causes you to abandon your own truth, right? You saw it, you heard it, you felt it, but because we have been taught by society to abandon our own truth, we forego the signs. And sometimes we end up in situations that are harmful, that cause us great harm, and unfortunately sometimes can cause us the loss of our life. Now, for me, and for some of the things that I've learned and just in the coaching that I've done, there are a few things that I see in a lot of women who specifically have a lot of difficulty in friendships. And this is the sister wound. It could be, some people call it the mean girls, but here's what it boils down to. Typically, these people have been bullied by other people. Many, many times they've been bullied by other people. And when other people have been bullied by someone else, they sometimes turn into the bully. Because they were powerless. And now they are seeking to be powerful over someone else because they were once powerless. And if you don't do the work to unheal, to unlearn that, and to understand why you're showing up the way you're showing up, you're going to continue to show up that way. That's one. Colorism. Now, this was a beautiful brown, dark chocolate young lady. And from what I gather of the other people, I don't know. I looked at them, but I really didn't spend a lot of time. But this is part of also why people show up the way they show up, especially when it comes to Black women. Colorism is big. There is a wonderful Instagram account that I follow that's called Pretty. What is it called? Pretty. Oh my God. It's basically, I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically pretty for, you've heard the backhanded compliment. You're pretty for a Black girl, or you're pretty for a dark girl, or you're pretty for a light-skinned girl, or whatever it may be. Colorism is big in our community, and it was done intentionally. When the slave owners were sexually abusing the slaves, Their children weren't as dark many times, so they were able to pass. They were able to be in the quote unquote big house. Colorism causes people to walk around being wounded when someone doesn't recognize your beauty because you're dark. And it's usually for women who are dark. Or maybe it's your hair. I know when I was a little girl, I used to get picked on because I had hair. It's the hair that comes out of my scalp. I didn't choose it. It was given to me. Because again, we were taught that the hair that grew out of our scalp was not beautiful. So if your hair wasn't straight and white, like, you were picked on. Oh, you think you too good. You got good hair. I mean, that's what I heard. I'm just saying. So when we start to think about some of these things, and then comparison, when you hear a backhanded compliment like you're pretty for a black girl or you're pretty for a dark-skinned girl, you're being compared to someone else, which makes you feel less than, makes you feel that you're not worthy. I don't know what was going on with those people, but I'm going to venture to say if we were to sit them down individually, probably a lot of this that I've already talked about will be very, very evident if they're going to be honest with themselves. Then we also have to talk about how discrimination and just the act of racism in and of itself and the oppression because of our skin color. Again, we do not know those people's backgrounds, but I promise you, these people are dealing with some of these things. This young lady had a wonderful life ahead of her, from what I gather. What about the people who she was with? I don't know what they were doing. I haven't been able to find their Instagram pages or anything to do any research on them. And honest to goodness, I really don't want to. I don't need to traumatize myself anymore. We will let the justice system do that. But a lot of times when you are doing your thing and it looks like you are excelling and you're living your best life, your money's right, your finances are right, you rocking nice things, you're living in a nice place, whether it's an apartment, condo, home, or whatever it is. Some people get envious and jealous because they have not arrived yet, not understanding that everything comes in time based on when they are ready for it, not when they think they're ready for it, because it just doesn't show up like that. So could they have been jealous of her? We don't know. But these are the things that I'm talking about that show up and that are trauma, that are part of the unhealed trauma. When you've been passed over from opportunity and opportunity and you've not been able to make inroads in creating the life that you want, and you see someone else doing the darn thing that maybe grew up similar to you, and you may get a little bit of animosity towards them, and you may even try to side up with them, hoping that maybe it'll rub off or something or whatever it may be. Some people do it to use people. But there's so many reasons. Another one might be maybe, just maybe, we don't know. But I do know that this shows up with women being passed over by men, particularly Black men. I am a caramel, butterscotch. I don't know what you want to call me, but I'm not as dark as some and I'm not as light as others, right? And trust me, I have been passed over, and I'm thankful for that in most cases. Because if my beautiful skin complexion is a problem for you, that's your problem, and it's not a me problem. That's a them problem, right? But it's not easy for everybody to say that. Honest to goodness, I don't recall being passed over for my skin color. If I was, I don't remember it. I've not had anyone tell me that I was too dark or whatever, right? But many women, many Black women have. And that leaves a hole that makes you dislike and sometimes even hate your own skin. And it's hard. And if you don't do the work to undo that internalized racism, because we do have it, many of us have so much self-hate for ourselves and others. Projection is another thing. Maybe these people were projecting their insecurities on her because of how well she was doing in her life. And when you project, it's kind of like I read this somewhere. I heard, and I thought this was one of the best examples of how projection looks. Projection looks like this: you have all this trash, and you go and dump it in somebody else's living room or in their house somewhere, and then get mad because and say it's messy. But you made the mess, and it was your trash, your junk that you dumped in their living room. And projection, the root of that could be jealousy. It could be envy. It could be a number of things that causes people to project. It could be insecurities. Trust me. Trust me, it can happen. And if you were a child who did not get a lot of attention, or you got the wrong attention, that could also be one of the reasons why people show up as adults and are hard and cannot be friends. They didn't get the praise. They didn't have the presence of someone to show them love, to be loving to them. They didn't have someone saying, "Oh my God, you are beautiful. I love your chocolate skin. I love your complexion. I love your hair. Your hair is so pretty." They didn't get that. They didn't get that. Not only did they not get the praise, they didn't get the presence of someone. They also may not have gotten the provision. This young lady, from what I gather, had both parents. We don't know if the other children, the other people, had both parents that were involved in their lives. She had a relationship with her mother, from what I gather, because her mother spoke with her. What if someone did not have that relationship and was jealous, envious of her relationship with her family? Jealousy and envy are very, very, very powerful because they cause people, they're not thinking correctly. They're acting out of their wounds. You know the saying, hurt people, right? Those people were hurt. It does not excuse them. Please note that it does not excuse them. I want them to get the full extent of whatever justice there is for her. I want them to be tried and convicted of murder. Every last one of them, whether they put their hand on her. If you stood there and you watched it and you did nothing, you need to be charged with murder. And you left her and you lied. I'm not judging. I'm just speaking what was in the news. And from what I gather, that would be facts. Right? Yes, comparison is the thief of joy. So what I'm saying is that so many things with these people, we don't know them. We don't even know her, but we know that she lost her life. We know that she was treated horribly in life and even in death. They left her. But here's the thing. Those wounds that I just talked about, that trauma, that unhealed trauma that we just talked about, the lack of attention, being bullied by other people, generational trauma, comparison, discrimination, oppression, internalized racism, misogynoir, um, so many other traumatic things that could have happened to people that caused them to show up this way. But what if these people have done their healing work? What if she, and I don't know, again, I don't know if she was doing healing work, what she knew about these people or whatnot. But what I am saying is this: when you have not done your healing work, we let things slide, we people please, we shrink, we hide. You're not standing in your power, you're not standing in your truth, you're not able to understand and actually feel and know when your intuition, your inner wisdom, your inner voice is protecting you, so you dismiss it. But when you do the healing work and you start to take those beliefs and those thoughts that you're having and even those feelings, because you're giving yourself permission to feel the feelings so that you can understand why you're feeling the way you're feeling, because that feeling is going to show you where the wound is, right? Excuse me, I'm a little thirsty. You are going to be more self-aware, and you are going to be able to peep people in their own trauma. You're going to be able to say, whoa, something is not right. I'm not sure what it is, but something is not right with this person. And I need to watch them a little closer. I need to minimize my time with them. I need to minimize being with them in locations and places and so forth, because now you are more aware. When you got so much clutter going on up here in your head, you can't even be self-aware. How in the Hammond Brown Jennings you going to recognize when your intuition is actually speaking to you? How are you going to recognize when someone sees your power in you and you don't even see your power? How are you going to recognize you're seeing how dad blasted talented and amazing you are when you have so much clutter in your head because you're believing all the things that you've been taught, everything that you grew up with, everything society tells you, you believe in it without saying, dang, is this true? And y'all, I am not just speaking what I think I know. I am speaking from one personal experience. And I'm also speaking from the place of when I am coaching my clients, and I have some highly inspired, high achieving coaches, people that I'm coaching who have done the work typically. They've done the self-help, they've done the therapy, they've done the things, but they still need a little bit more support. Your healing can absolutely help you to start making better decisions. Me too. Our healing can help us to make deep decisions that can be the difference between life and death in some cases. What we have been taught and what we have yet to put on trial to decide if it's true is harming us. It is harming us. And some of us are so wounded and we want someone to give us, to see us, to hear us, to give us attention so badly that we walk blindly into situations and are harmed, unfortunately. So I just wanted to talk about that because People think that a lot of people are out here talking about do your inner work because they're just out here just tooting their horn and they just want to make a dollar or whatever. And some people are. I'm just gonna be real. Some people are that's really all, they're just making a dollar. At some point, they probably did believe in what they were doing. But y'all, it is truly and can be a matter of life and death. And that's not just for friendships. What about the people that you become romantically involved with? What about the people at the workplace? Because there's some folks at the workplace that's trying to harm you in some capacity. You need to be able to read that. And the only way to read that is to actually have self-awareness so that you know that you are reading a situation from a place of healing and not from a place of woundedness. I don't even know if that's a word, but that sounded pretty good. You know what I'm saying? If you're feeling what I'm putting down, please let me know in the comments. And I would love to have dialogue about this. Thank you to everybody that's joined. Y'all, my heart is just, when I saw it, y'all, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. When I saw Cassandra, I don't know if she's looking at it, but when I got on Facebook, I was looking to see if I had any messages, if I needed to respond to anybody who might be seeking coaching or had some responses about an RV that I might be trying to buy or something like that. And I just happened to see her live. I had no idea. I had to get myself together because I know I needed to talk about this. We have got to do our work. It's not easy. I promise you, it is not. It ain't easy. And I will not sit here and tell you it's going to be a cakewalk, because it is not going to be a cakewalk. It's going to be some days you're going to be like, why in the Hammond Brown Jennings did I even decide to do this? Because this right here don't feel good. Well, let me ask you something. How you living right now? How you showing up right now? And I am not being ugly. I am not. I promise you I'm not, because I am dealing with my own healing. I am always continuously on the healing. Matter of fact, I just made phone calls to find a therapist today to help me with something. Because what I'm not going to do is ignore when I find that there is more work and I need to go deeper and I need some support. And we have to be brave enough to say, I need help. So that we are not making these types of decisions and choices from a place of wounds. Because when your wounds are helping you make your decisions, you can't see the truth of people, because you can't even see the truth of yourself. Ask me how I know. Do the work. Do the work. If you can't afford coaching, there are a lot of free resources. Click the link in my bio. There's a free 7-day email clutter-free mind, body, and spirit challenge. That doesn't work for you. Cassandra is one of the coaches that has a free masterclass. Honey, the resources are out there if you want to do the work, until you can afford to step into support that is individualized for you. Okay? There is plenty of ways. Read the emails that people send you that you've already signed up to be a part of their email list. Many, many times I read emails from some of the people that I have signed up for their email list, and I get a piece of information that's just like right on time for me, that helps me to process something that I am going through. One thing in particular, one of my good friends, she does Reiki, or Reiki, how you pronounce it, but she also does the Ho'oponopono. Yesterday, I actually had a energy healing session with her. How did I find it? I was led to her because I hadn't been on Facebook for a couple of days, because I'm usually not on Instagram or any of the social media platforms on the weekend. I have to have my breaks. And I had just said that I need to schedule a Reiki session. And lo and behold, when I went to Facebook, one of the first things I saw was that she was offering her Reiki sessions at a deeply discounted rate. And I was like, you know what, Lord, you are always on time. Mother, Father, God, thank you so much. Okay. When you are open, and I'm going to say that again, when you are open to doing your work and your healing, the universe will conspire to give it to you, to send you the right people at the right time, the right resources. But please, please, please don't put it off too much longer. Don't put it off. Because the longer you wait to do your healing, the longer it's going to take for you to have that fulfilling, authentic, loving relationship first with yourself, with that romantic partner, whoever that may be, to create the opportunities, the abundance and the prosperity from a place of abundance versus lack and scarcity. The sooner you start doing your healing work, you're going to be able to set the boundaries and stand 10 toes down for your truth. Nobody ain't going to be able to tell you who you are, who you be. I promise you, it is worth every second. It's worth every tear you have cried in your healing journey. It is worth everything. Your relationships with your children, with your significant others, with your parents, with your friends, with your road dogs, with your ride or dies, with Mother, Father, God, with your ancestors, with the universe, with nature. Everything improves when you start to do the work and continue the journey. And again, even if you can't afford a coach or a therapist, even if you don't have there are plenty of resources. Because let me tell you something, and I'm gonna be real about real. I've been real, but I'm gonna break it down to you. If you want to do something, you'll figure it out. We always have. We always do. If it's important enough to you, we will figure it out. You will figure it out. And I hope that your healing is important to you, because let me tell you something. The healing that we're doing, it ain't just for us. We have people watching us. Not only is it just not just for the people who are watching us, our children, our grandkids, our sisters, our parents, but for the community at large, the collective at large. We need to be healed, because I don't know if y'all see this paradigm shift that's going on in the world today. But we're going to need some healed folks to stand 10 toes down in their truth, to stand up to what's going on, because a lot of change is about to happen. There's a whole bunch of stuff. You see these people, this white toxicity and this patriarchal people, these people are scrambling for ways to keep things the way that they are. And if we don't have the fortitude, if we don't have the self-awareness, if we don't have our innate power that's in us to be able to stand in it, they are going to take us, honey, we already been set back. Do you not see what happened with the abortion law? Then they're trying to take away the Indian Children's Act. I'm just saying, it's a lot happening. And it's happening because people are healing, and they're finally stepping into their power. They're finally finding their voice. Because the veil is thin. People are starting to understand that all of this is truly part of a grand scheme to no accountability, no responsibility, to keep the status quo. The matrix. It is what it is. Okay? But anyway, I'm not going to bore you guys anymore. Not bore. Hopefully I wasn't bored. I'm not going to keep you any longer, but I would love to have some dialogue. If you're on Facebook, I cannot see your comments if you have not given StreamYard permission to see your information. If you're on Instagram and you want to chit chat with me, we can do that. I'm going to stay on here maybe another 10, 15 minutes because I'm also going to have the same discussion on TikTok. Wish it was a way to do live on all of these things. Oh, great. Let's definitely do some breath work. Y'all know I love my 444 because one, it is easy to do. And here's the thing, your breath is with you all the time to get you grounded. If you can't do nothing else, you can breathe. Okay? If you can't do anything else, you can breathe. So if you all would just get a little comfortable wherever you may be. You may be driving, and you can even do this while you're driving. Just pay attention to the road. But wherever you may be, and just try, roll your shoulders backwards and forwards and try to release a little bit of that tension in your shoulders and your lower and your upper back. I like to do this. And just roll them. And if you like, you can certainly close your eyes. You can do your neck like this. And it just helps to release some of the tension. And the box breathing is really simple. We're going to do 4 seconds breathing in through the nose, like most people do, right? But deep inhale through the nose. And if you know about diaphragmatic breathing, your belly should rise when you're breathing in through the nose because you're breathing through the diaphragm. We all learn how to breathe incorrectly over time. Babies, if you watch babies breathing, they breathe through their diaphragm. When they breathe, their little tummies go. When they breathe, inhale, their little tummies expand. And then somehow we learn how to breathe incorrectly. Don't really know how, but you're going to breathe in for 4. And then you're going to hold your breath for 4. Then we're going to exhale through our mouth. And when we're exhaling through our mouth, we are going to be visualizing in our head that we're releasing all the anxiety, all the fear, all the grief, the depression, whatever it is that you need to release that is not serving you, okay? Once you do that exhale, you're going to hold for 4. And what's happening when we do this breath work, it is actually resetting your nervous system, because when you're anxious, when you're stressed out, when you're in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, your sympathetic nervous system has activated, telling your body and your mind that, hey, some stuff about to go down. We need to do something. Okay. So the breathing is going to bring you back into your autonomic nervous system so that you can start to think clearly. Because when you're in the sympathetic nervous system, when the sympathetic nervous system is activated, you can't think, right? You can react, but you can't think. And we need to be able to think so that we can respond versus reacting, because reacting is what gets us in trouble, right? So let's do this together. On 3, we're going to start our inhale and hold for 4. 1, 2, 3. Inhale for 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through your mouth, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And inhale again, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. And hold, 2, 3, 4. Last one. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. And hold, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you like, you can just do a little shimmy. I like to do from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet, because that also helps to release anxiety and trapped trauma. If you've ever seen your dog or your cat or any animal out in the wild, and after they've been through something traumatic, they shake, it's helping them release that. So I hope this has been helpful. And again, let's just keep the Robinson family in our prayers. Let's pray that they find that Shanquella Robinson receives justice and that she rests in peace. Yeah. But do what you can to protect yourself, okay? Minimize looking at the news as much as possible. Minimize it, okay? Hey, Delisha, I haven't seen you in forever. I hope everything's going well. You're very welcome at Change My Life with Plants. And everybody that's joined me, I appreciate it. But you guys have a great rest of your evening. And I'm going to leave this out there. If I can help you in any way, I'm just a DM away, an email away. I'm just a DM away or an email away. So have a great rest of your evening. And until the next time, y'all know what to do, right? Continue planting those seeds that are going to propel you forward so you can continue to grow, thrive, and flourish. All right. Take care. Mwah. Good night, everyone.